Now, changes to family justice in England and Wales have come into force, which ministers say will put the welfare of children at the centre of the system. Under the new measures, couples will have to consider mediation before they head for the divorce courts. Well, joining me now from our central London studios, our family mediator, Sheila Gooderham, and Natasha Britton, who used mediation to settle her divorce. Very good morning to you both. Well, I mean, it's the same question to you both. Perhaps Natasha first. Mediation then seems far better way of going about these things than going straight to court.
It does indeed. It gives you an opportunity to work things through financials and childcare in a balanced, respectful, amicable way rather than going to court.
Well, what was your experience, just a little bit of that? Did you find that sitting there, presumably face to face, you were able to work things out more easily?
Yes, of course. There is that moment when you look at each other across the table, and I think it's then you can either choose to go forward positively, or you can kind of make it messy and unpleasant for everybody. And we just looked at each other and knew that we wanted to do this in a good way for our children and for ourselves and our family and grandparents and everybody else.
Sheila, I could be facetious here about lawyers and say, well, are they perhaps not going to like this so much because presumably the more complicated a divorce is, the more money they make?
No, my experience and my mediation practice experience is that my best referrers for mediation are lawyers, because a lot of us, and including myself, are a child of divorced parents, and we know what it feels like when your parents can't get along. I'm also a divorced mum myself, so I know how it feels, and it's really important that we get the message out there that mediation is a positive choice for people to make. You're not obliged to mediate, and nobody's forcing you to do that. They're just asking you to find out about mediation first. And
how does it put children at the heart of the process? You touched upon it there, Sheila. One of the main things in any divorce where children are involved is making sure that they're okay.
Absolutely. And when you go through the court system, it's going to take 9 months, 12 months, possibly 2 years of angst and stress within the family unit. That's a long time in a child's life. And the bottom line is, if you're getting a divorce and you have children, you are going to be grandparents together. You've chosen to have children together, and you've got a lifelong relationship to manage. So sort it. It really helps if we can talk about how we're going to create 2 homes, 2 roofs over heads for 2 households, how we can sort out arrangements for sharing parenting. And most of my clients come out of mediation, 70 to 80% of people come out of mediation with a good result that they have created with the support of a good mediator.
Natasha, would you go along with that? I mean, first of all, about children. And can mediation work? I don't know how complicated your divorce settlement was, but can mediation work in even the most complex cases?
I think it's really important. I mean, I also was a child of divorced parents, as was my ex-husband, and we wanted to do it a whole lot better. Our financial situation was incredibly complicated, and fertile ground for a good old fight if we had chosen to go that way, and we decided not to, for the benefit of all. And I guess you have to kind of make that decision, leave your ego at the door as to whether you want to go in and fight or just make it good for everybody.
Well, let me ask you personally, I mean, were there things you were angry about, and in a different situation you think perhaps you might have lost it a bit and had a bit of a go, that in the end you bit your lip and thought, I do have to compromise here?
Yeah, it is about compromise, and it is about understanding that you have the rest of your lives. And then just to reiterate what Sheila said about being grandparents and your wider circle of friends, and more importantly, actually, it is about the children, and just realising that you can go forward and you have the rest of your lives, and you just got to be a bigger person sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it could go for international affairs as well, I suspect. Sheila, I mean, you mentioned there that, of course, people choose to go for mediation. Could there not be a case where you could say, well, shouldn't all divorcing couples be made to have at least one or couple of sessions to see if they can work it out that way?
I think it has to be a matter of personal choice, and actually coming along and finding out about mediation, which is the point that's being made compulsory today, finding out about mediation. Most people find when they come along and meet a mediator that that's what they want to do. But it's really important that we have a choice, and it's not suitable for everyone. If there's domestic violence involved, if there are mental health issues, for instance, it may not work, in which case the court is there to support and provide a solution. But for a lot of people it does work, so it's worth finding out about it. Nobody should be forced to do anything, and one of the fundamental mediation principles is that it is a voluntary process.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but there's also the case that it hopefully will speed it all up, Sheila.
Absolutely it will. I mean, usually it takes 4 to 6 sessions lasting 4 to 5 months, possibly 3 months. I've even mediated an hour-long session and resolved a fight that went on for 2 years, so anything's possible.
Wow. Last thought to Natasha, are you still friends or still talking, I hope, with your ex-husband?
Yeah, he came around for a roast yesterday and hung out with the kids and I, so we're still really good friends and we will continue to be. And how nice is that, not to have an enemy in your life, so...
Yep, there's an advertisement for it. OK, Natasha, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thanks too to Sheila Gooderham there as well.